Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, group racing returns to Hong Kong on Sunday with the running of the Celebration Cup, Group 3 over 1400 metres, and we're not going to deal with that race on this program. However, we're going to deal with a couple of the undercard races, and the first one of those is race 3, where our winning factor is the trial. So this class 4 over 1200 metres looks to have quite a long tail to it on what we've seen of them so far, and I think the race revolves around 3 horses with decent form last season as 3-year-olds, now returning to racing as 4-year-olds. Run Timing has already won a race, leading all the way this course and distance, and I think he gives Brittany Wong her most realistic chance yet to ride a winner in Hong Kong, while Fun and Fun Together and Storming Dragon both showed plenty of talent last season without being able to break through for a win. And 2 of those, Run Timing and Storming Dragon, are where I want to focus in this race. Now, as I mentioned, this will be their first race back this season. However, both have trialled recently and both did a pretty good job. Firstly, let's take a look at Run Timing, chasing home a higher grade horse, Wonder Kit. Now this is on September 5, Heat 5, and from an outside gate in red and yellow colours, Run Timing begins fast, but Wonder Kit on the inside has more speed and goes through to lead. Run Timing travels comfortably chasing him. The speed is very strong in this trial, so it's a good test, but the late sectionals here were weak. You might expect that after a fast pace, but Run Timing is niggled along and comfortably held, but he's easily second best in the trial. Now, the winner of that trial we're going to see in the Group 3 Celebration Cup on Sunday, so he's certainly a much better class of horse than Run Timing will meet on Sunday, and it certainly was a trial that suggests he's on song for his return to racing. But did he trial as well as Storming Dragon did just 8 days later? This is September 13, Heat 8. He's in Gate 5 with green and yellow quarters and white sleeves, and Storming Dragon is also out quickly and leads. If anything, he's probably travelling a touch too strong in the lead in this trial. The overall speed here is quite similar to the one we saw from Run Timing, but the later sectionals are much better, and we see Storming Dragon still going to the line with something in hand. So different trials on different days, and to be fair, the Chung Fa trials are not as reliable as the trials at Sha Tin, so there is that little query on them. But I think when we compare those 2 trials, you'd agree that the better trial was the second one that we saw. Now, when we go to the map for Sunday's race, the pace is a little tricky. Now, had the on-pace horses here drawn inside, the speed might not be looking that strong. But we have all 4 pace horses in the outside 5 gates. Now, because the inside horses aren't that fast, these pace horses might not have to work that hard to get across them. But it does mean they all have to be asked to run along in the initial stages as a group, so they could have their own little race early as that takes place. And I'm particularly looking at the 10-pound claimer on Run Timing, as I'm sure that Brittany Wong will be asked to try and lead on this horse. Now, all of that might generate a worthwhile speed, but this draw setup also gives Zach Purton every chance to see what his major rivals are doing on the outside of him, and he gets the opportunity with Storming Dragon to make Run Timing or Fun and Fun Together do some work to get across him, or Purton even has the option to lead himself if the cards fall that way. But the tip from me in race 3 is Storming Dragon, his winning factor, the trial. Now, I thought both of the trials of him and Run Timing were pretty good. Run Timing has won a race and Storming Dragon hasn't, but I think that trial showed that his turn is not far away and might in fact be on Sunday. The other race I'm looking at on Sunday's card is race 8, where our winning factor is the handicap. Now this is a Class 4, 1400 metres, and I'm sure there will be cases made for other runners, but the critical players here are just two. Ballistic Wind, a little unlucky when he resumed for the season as favourite, and Mastermind, who was not so unlucky, but still put up a very good performance on his return to racing. Now both of these horses resumed on opening day and in successive races. Firstly, Ballistic Wind over 1400 metres. This is race 8, and from gate 2 in blue and white colours, Ballistic Wind begins well enough for Ben Thompson, and he's able to work through and take a spot just behind the speed in slow early sectionals. A good position for when the sprint goes on from the top of the straight. But that slow earlier speed actually meant the field doesn't really open up when they straighten for home. So Ballistic Wind has a few issues getting clear and then takes time to get his momentum up before closing into third place. Now, half an hour later, Mastermind also made his return for the new season, but under very different circumstances and over 1200 metres. Let's take a look at that performance. This is race 9, and he begins okay from gate 11 in blue and pink colours, but the speed underneath him is too sharp. So Zach Purton takes him back to the rear. Now, the heat map here tells the story of a race that is very much against horses trying to make ground. The early pace is average, but gets quicker as the contest proceeds with strong late sectional times. The first 3 horses come right away from the field, but Mastermind, after standing most of the field up a big start, runs on into 4th placing. Now, he was beaten 4.5 lengths there into 4th placing, but his closing speed was one of the best in the race, and now he steps up to 1400 metres, and he looks well suited, especially in this particular 1400 metre race. Because on paper, this race looks a good tempo and quite likely faster than average, with Ragnar or Riches, Highland Rahi and Mufafa, all potential leaders. Now, we often see that not everyone in this situation decides to get involved in these battles for the lead, but it only needs 2 to tango here, and I do think that we will get that. Although both the horses we are looking at began okay in the replays we just saw, they aren't always the best from the gates, which can come against them, but the pace here looks like playing into their strength at the finish. But the tip in race 8 for me is Mastermind. His winning factor, the handicap. Now, we've been through the pace aspect of the race, and I think there's very little between these horses, the way the race sets up. So how do we separate them? Well, since they last met and finished alongside each other last season, Ballistic Wind has won a race and gone up in the handicaps, which means there is a handicap turnaround in favour of Mastermind, and I think that could be the deciding factor. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.